Un sueño perdido eres tú. Te busco en mi mundo.
Welcome back to the channel and thank you guys for tuning in. Today I'm gonna jump right into it. I wanna go over putting a song together using separate sequences that I'm building on the MPC One so I can just kind of make it sound like a full track. Now, I'm not gonna be finishing the entire track on the MPC One. I will export separate audio stems and I'll finish my mix and my master in Ableton. Real quick, I am gonna go over what I have on this session, as you guys heard in the introduction. The way I usually start a beat is I will start with a sequence. I only have one sequence. I don't have nothing in my mind of building a song. I'm just performing a sequence, and if it feels good to me, then I'll take it a step further. This is what I started with when I first started this beat. I'll let you guys hear it. That's it. It's just a 4-bar loop. And as I'm building this track or the song and I'm doing my chops, my drums, some bass, and I'm getting connected with this song, and if I am very connected with it and I really do feel what I'm doing, then I'll take it a step further. What I mean by taking it a step further is once I have this looping, what happens a lot of times is we stop here and this is where the track ends and we just have a bunch of sessions in our SD cards that go nowhere. You guys technically could export these as separate audio stems, put them into Ableton and do your cuts right there. That's fine. But I like to have most of the track done in the MPC One. What I do is once I have something that I'm happy with, I'll go ahead and as I'm in my sequence, I hit this little pencil icon and I duplicate, I'll copy my sequence, I'll copy whatever I have going on right there and I'll paste it on the next empty sequence. I hit do it. I'm not gonna hit do it right now because I've already done it. And I start building separate small 4-bar sequences and I start doing variations of my beats. So, and you know, this second bridge sequence, I have separate sample chops. So it's not the same thing looping. In this one, it sounds a little different. I'll let you guys hear what I have going on right here. So that's it. It's only 2 bars. I made that only 2 bars because I wanted like a short little bridge in the verse. And this is obviously changing with the chops that I'm doing on the sample, as you guys can hear right here. So I'm doing different parts of the song, and once I have that going on, I go back to the verse. So now I'm playing with these 2 sequences that I've created. So I'm able to kind of go back and forth with these 2 sequences and have a variation in my track. Once I have those 2 sequences going back and forth, I'm feeling it, I'm connecting with the song. As the song is growing, I'm also connecting with what I feel. And now I create another sequence. I copy and paste this sequence, the original one. And when I paste that on this other empty sequence, which I have right here, I'll do my intro. So maybe on this sequence, I take off my drums and I only do the sample, or maybe I try a different variation and record a separate variation. Let's see what we have for our intro. So there's no drums on this one that I just took away the drums. So I start off on the intro. You guys can name your sequences. You know, I put intro, do it. And as I'm building the track, I'm naming it, whatever is comfortable for you guys. But on this one, on this sequence, there's no drums. If we go to my drums, which are in track 1, I'll go to my grid editor, I'll zoom out. I do have drums coming in because this is my intro. I know I'm gonna drop into the verse. So it starts off just with pure sample. that's how I'm building it. So right now I have 3 sections. I have my intro with no drums. Then I have my verse where the drums come in. And then I have like a verse bridge where I change up the melody of the chops that I'm doing. And then I go back to the verse, but this verse is a version 2. I know it might sound a little confusing, but this is the same loop as my original verse, but on this one, I just take out the drums in the beginning and I add a little sound effects right here. I add that and I kind of take off the kick in the hi-hat and I come back into the snare. So it kind of switches up my loop. I don't know if this is making any sense. I hope it does, but I'm creating different versions of the same sequence. I'm just playing with these 4 sequences that I've created, as we can actually see them right here. And the way I'm going to this page, if you're on your main screen, you go to this next sequence button, click it, and you see your sequences right here. I got my intro, my verse bridge, and my verse version 2. And I'm able to perform this and go back and forth with my sequences. I want to just let you guys know, if you guys are finding value in this video, do not forget to give it a thumbs up because it really does help the video. Now I'm going to jump into our song mode in the MPC. Once we have these separate sequences, we're ready to put all this stuff together so we're not jumping back and forth. In order for us to do that, we got to go into song mode on the MPC. We go to this little house icon, and then right here you'll see song. We click on song, and once we're right here, we're able to start building our song, which I have already done, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to clear this, and I'll do it with you guys right here. Now, in order for us to start putting these sequences together, it's really simple. Once you're in this page and you've already created 3 to 4 separate variations or separate sequences, once you're in this page, you simply just hit the record button and it starts flashing. Once it's doing the flashing sign right there, I'm able to start punching these sequences in. Like I got my intro, boom, it's already right there. Then I go into my verse, it's already right there. Now that verse loop is only 4 bars, but I want it to loop 2 times. So right here, I'm gonna click on this little loop icon where it says 1, I'm gonna go to 2. So it's gonna loop 2 times, and after that, I want it to go to my verse bridge. So I just click that. So now it's on my verse bridge. I only want that to loop once. After that, I want it to go into my second version of the verse. Boom, I click that, which is right here. And I want that to loop only once. And after that, I want it to go back to the regular verse without the drops. So I hit the verse, boom, and it comes back to the regular verse. And after that, I can go back to, let's say, my intro. After the intro, back to the verse bridge, and then back to the original verse. Sounds a little confusing, right? But I'm gonna hit play and you'll see how it's playing out, Chord.
Un sueño perdido eres tú. Un sueño perdido eres tú. Te busco en mi mundo.
Now, I don't want to go through the whole song. I mean, as you guys can see right here, I'm building different sections. I'm piecing them together in song mode, and it's starting to sound like an actual track. It's not just one loop that's repeating itself over and over. Now, once I have this built, that's when you guys can actually hit convert to a sequence. So once I hit convert to a sequence, it's gonna grab all these different sequences that I've been putting together in song mode, and it's gonna put them into an empty sequence, which I'm gonna hit do it. And once it said it went into sequence 5, I'm in sequence 2, 3, 4. Now in sequence 5, it put together that whole entire song and puts it all together in one sequence. So now we have one sequence with 32 bars that if I hit play, we go into grid view actually, I'll go ahead and zoom out. There's my whole entire song right there. Now, if you guys are ready to export this beat into Ableton or Pro Tools or whatever DAW you guys use, you guys can still come in here and manipulate or take away certain things. Right now, we're looking at the drums, the whole entire drum section. We can actually go in here and perfect all this. If we go to our sample track. We're in the drums. But if I go into my samples, here's my whole entire sample. On this track, once the beat drops, this is my intro. Then this is my verse. But let's say on the third bar of the first verse, I want to change up my chops a little bit so it's not too repetitive. I can focus only on the third bar of my verse. In order for me to loop that third bar, I go to the fourth red cue link, the one that's on red on the fourth one, make sure that's selected. And these two knobs right here is your start and end point of the loop section. Let me show you guys what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to the third bar of the verse. This is my first bar, my second, my third will be right here on 7, which is right there. And I only wanna loop that bar, that's it. Boom. Zoom in right there. Now, I'm not looping the whole entire sequence because it's like 30 something bars. I'm only looping that small section. I just want to work and make an adjustment to those chops so it's not too repetitive. I hit play and it's going to loop that section only. Cool. I want to make a change so it's not too repetitive. I want to probably try a different version of these chops. So as you guys can see, I'm working in small little sections if I want to by just setting the loop start and end point and perfecting the song like that. You guys can spend hours building your song like this. Now, me personally, everybody works different, but I rather just to export my separate audio stems with the main idea that I had already laid out right here. And once I export this into Pro Tools or Ableton, right there I feel like I'm a lot faster to take out and, I don't know, just manipulate my drums a little more. But this is pretty much a track that's done. Like 80 or 75% of this track I feel happy with, and I'm okay with exporting it. So guys, I hope this was helpful. And again, make sure you guys check out my export settings video, which I'll leave up here. It will go into much detail on how you can export your audio tracks. And I also show you guys how I import these separate audio tracks in Ableton and arrange it right there. So that might be helpful for some of you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have a blessed day. I'll catch you guys on our next video.
Un sueño perdido eres tú, te busco en mi mundo. So,